your family needed a favor. This is a situation where you owe me one. Have a nice rest of your day.
It sounds like someone deliberately tried to hurt you.
Sounds like attempted murder.
I can't imagine how terrified you must have been.
I found out who did this.
I love you, Derek.
For one night, let me remind you who you still are.
I fell in love with an inconvenient man.
Now you have to deal with the inconvenient consequences. You see how that works?
You couldn't possibly hurt me more than you already have.
Don't try me.
We got a problem.
Protecting the family is our priority.
Agreed.
See you around the neighborhood.
Beyond the Gates, new daytime series premieres CBS Monday, February 24th and streaming on Paramount+.
Fans of Beyond the Gates may notice that their favorite soap opera is not airing today, and there's a simple reason for the schedule change. CBS is preempting the soap opera nationally on New Year's Eve to allow CBS Sports to air the Sun Bowl, which will the Duke Blue Devil face off against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Beyond the Gates is scheduled to return with original episodes on Thursday, January 1st, 2026 as the series concludes its first season. What is Beyond the Gates about? CBS officially describes Beyond the Gates as a drama set in a leafy Maryland suburb just outside of Washington, D.C., in one of the most affluent African-American counties in the United States. A posh gated community with winding tree-lined streets and luxurious mansions to call home. At the center of this community are the Duprees, a powerful and prestigious multi-generational family that is the very definition of black royalty. But behind these pristine walls and lush, manicured gardens are juicy secrets and scandals waiting to be uncovered. And those who live outside these gates are watching closely. These are the places where our characters live, love, work and play. Those who have made it and those who haven't are all trying to navigate life, and some with more grace than others. Beyond the Gates is developed and produced by CBS Studios and the NAACP in partnership with P&G Studios, a division of Procter & Gamble. The series is the groundbreaking first hour-long black soap opera to premiere in daytime. The series was created by award-winning showrunner Michele Val Jean in association with executive producer Sheila Ducksworth, and marks the first new daytime soap opera to debut since NBC's Passions premiered back in 1999. But right now, I can't. She squeezed Nicole's hand, a brief, hard pressure, then got into her car and drove away. Nicole stood on the sidewalk, feeling utterly helpless. The shattering news had left them both cut by the same glass, but isolated in their individual agony. New Year's Eve descended upon Salem with its usual forced gaiety. The Brady pub was packed, buzzing with laughter and the clink of glasses. Streamers hung from the ceilings, and Happy New Year banners fluttered in the draft from the constantly opening door. Nicole had convinced Dani to come, arguing that sitting in the dark wouldn't help Anita, who had insisted they try to have a normal night. Normal. The word had lost all meaning. Dani sat at a corner booth, toying with a glass of champagne she had no intention of drinking. She wore a stunning emerald green dress, but her eyes were hollow. Nicole, beside her in silver, kept up a steady stream of conversation with Sean and Belle, who were at the bar, but her attention was laser-focused on Dani. She could feel the grief radiating from her like cold. As the countdown to midnight began, 10, 9, 8. The energy in the pub reached a fever pitch. Nicole leaned into Dani. "We'll get through this. I promise." Dani gave a tiny, hopeless shrug. The crowd roared, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. And the room erupted. Confetti rained down. Noisemakers blared. And everywhere, people kissed. Sean dipped Belle backwards in a dramatic, laughing kiss. Over by the jukebox, Johnny and Chanel shared a sweet, lingering embrace. But in their booth, Nicole and Dani simply looked at each other, the chasm of sorrow too wide to cross with a traditional gesture. Nicole leaned in and pressed a firm, heartfelt kiss to Dani's forehead, a kiss of promise, of solidarity, of a love that was present even in the ruins. "I'm going to get some air," Dani murmured, extracting herself from the booth before Nicole could respond. She weaved through the celebrating crowd and pushed out the back door into the quiet, freezing alley. The cold was a slap, a welcome numbness. Dani braced her hands against the brick wall, head bowed, finally letting the tears she'd held back all evening fall in silent, shuddering waves. The raucous sounds of the party were muffled out here, a distant, irrelevant dream. She didn't hear the other door open. Dani. She jerked upright, hastily wiping her cheeks. Standing a few feet away, holding 2 coats, was Leo Stark. Of all people. Her cousin, the often cynical, perpetually scheming, recently trying to reform gossip columnist for The Spectator. His usual smirk was absent, replaced by a look of genuine concern. "What do you want, Leo?" she said, her voice ragged. "Nicole was worried. She saw you bolt. Asked me to bring you your coat." He held it out. "It's freezing." Dani hugged herself, turning away. "Just leave it on the bin. I'll get it in a minute." Leo didn't leave. He stood there, an uncharacteristically patient presence. "Rough night." A bitter laugh escaped her. "You could say that." "I heard about Anita," he said softly. The news, in true Salem fashion, had traveled fast after the initial family was told. "I'm really sorry, Dani. She's one of the good ones." The unexpected sincerity, coming from Leo of all people, was the final straw. A fresh wave of grief overwhelmed her, and a sob broke from her chest. She covered her face, shoulders shaking. And then, a miracle occurred. Leo Stark did something kind without an ulterior motive. He stepped forward and wrapped her coat around her shoulders, then, hesitantly, put his arms around her in an awkward but firm hug. Dani, too broken to resist, collapsed into it, crying into the shoulder of his expensive, ridiculous velvet jacket. "It's not fair," she choked out. "No," he agreed, his voice quiet in her ear. "It's a damn tragedy." When her tears finally subsided to hiccups, she pulled back, embarrassed. "Sorry. Your jacket." It's seen worse," he said, with a ghost of his old smirk. He didn't let her go fully, his hands resting on her shoulders. In the dim, bluish light of the security lamp, with confetti caught in his blonde hair, he looked strangely earnest. "You know, for what it's worth, I lost my mom too. Not the same way, but the hole it leaves. It never goes away. But you learn to live around it." Dani searched his face, seeing not the caricature of a gossip-monger, but a man who understood profound loss. In that moment of absolute vulnerability and shocking kinship, something shifted. The need to feel something, anything, other than the crushing weight of impending grief was overwhelming. The line between comfort and something else blurred, vanished. It was Dani who moved. She leaned in, and she kissed him. It wasn't a sweet, New Year's kiss. It was desperate, hungry, a lifeline grasped in a stormy sea. For a second, Leo froze in surprise, then he kissed her back with equal intensity, a temporary shelter for them both from their respective demons. The door swung open, flooding the alley with light and noise. "Dani, Nicole stood frozen in the doorway, her silver dress glittering, her face a mask of stunned betrayal. The joyous noise from the pub framed her like a cruel joke. Dani and Leo sprang apart. Dani's hand flew to her lips, her eyes wide with horror at what she'd just done, at who had just seen. "Nicole, it's not," Leo began, taking a step back, his hands up. But Nicole didn't wait for an explanation. The look on her face, a perfect fracture of heartbreak over the existing grief, said everything. She turned and disappeared back into the crowd. "Nicole, wait!" Dani cried, stumbling after her, Leo's taste like ash in her mouth, the shattering news of days before now compounded by a shattering mistake. The new year had begun, not with hope, but with a devastating diagnosis, and a kiss that had just blown a